Hi, I'm Captain Chris, showing you a typical 3-cylinder 8 kilowatt diesel generator found on a lot of boats. This is in our classroom in Vero Beach, and you can see it's on a 4-wheel dolly that we can roll it out into the middle of the classroom. My purpose for showing this video today is the preheat button, the start button, the stop button. Then we've got the water temperature gauge, the oil pressure gauge, the hour meter to register service intervals like an oil change, and also the voltage for the actual alternator. Speaking of the alternator, there is the alternator that recharges the 12 or 24 volt battery to start the generator. Other things to notice here, this is a electric fuel pump, not mechanical, but an electric fuel pump. Oil pressure sending indicator. This is the solenoid to stop the generator. When you actually turn it off, it will pull it, and see, it will turn it off. That's the fuel valve down there. You can see where you can add oil here, add oil into that. The dipstick on this model is kind of tricky to find, so we put that little white tape on it right there so we can pull the dipstick out. And up on the top, if you've got enough space, you can add oil in here. There's the radiator cap if you need to put antifreeze or coolant inside of the freshwater recirculating system. And then there is the alternator, the freshwater recirculating pump, and then the harmonic pulley or the crankshaft pulley on the front of the engine with the belt. Stay tuned, we'll pull it out and show you two important things that you haven't seen: the raw water pump and also the exhaust elbow. Just in case you're curious, the exhaust elbow is hard to find. It's generally in between the diesel engine and the electric armature. The raw water pump is the raw water exhaust elbow is right there. I'll pull it out and you'll get to see more of that in a moment. Stand by. Now that we've got the generator pulled out from the cubby hole, much like the sound shield box that you would have on a boat, you can see you've got the recirculating water pump here, alternator, and then the belt that we talk about in the article coming off of the crankshaft pulley at the bottom. This cylinder is the heat exchanger that will have a zinc, a pencil rod zinc right there. That's where the pencil rod zinc is in the heat exchanger. And then moving around to the other side, this is tricky on this model, or however the generator's installed in your boat. There's a raw water pump. That is where the rubber impeller is. We had to cut this hose for the classroom, but it sucks raw water up in here, into that pump, out the bottom of the pump, into the heat exchanger. Then it goes across the front and comes back and exits out the heat exchanger up this hose into the exhaust elbow. It's called a mixing elbow or a riser, but raw water goes in here and hot exhaust is coming out of the engine right there where my finger is. So that might be neighborhood of 1,000 degrees. We're squirting water in there and it comes out down here into the rubber hose to go to the water lift muffler, somewhere around 200 degrees Fahrenheit or less. An important part of this whole system are these wires. This is a thermal sensor, so if the raw water pump fails and we're no longer injecting cooling water into the hot exhaust, this will actually trigger the safety shutdown system and turn off the generator automatically while you're sleeping. So our next segment, we will have a different brand generator where I'm training a new boat owner, and I'm having difficulty seeing this, so I'll be crawling around trying to aim the camera at this in the other video coming up next, and you'll see how difficult it is for a boat owner like yourself is to inspect this and to make sure that these wires are in good contact. Stay tuned for the next segment. I'm looking at this exhaust elbow on a generator. You can see it's got a lot of rust on it and it's silver. That is stainless steel, But look at all that crevice corrosion. This should be replaced immediately. You can see it's leaking water down into the electrical armature. Another thing that's dangerous about this is that little knob right there is missing the thermal sensor. Let me put my flashlight down and see if I can grab it with my hand. Well, I can't find the thermal sensor. It's fallen out of reach. But this no longer has your high temperature safety shutdown because the safety shutdown is missing. It's not there. Be sure to look us up online or at your newsstand at the boat store. So Southern Boating Media, Southern Boating Magazine, Southern Boating Online. So if you want to learn more about do-it-yourself projects, pick up a copy and look for the DIY column. Thanks.